Λοιπόν, καλησπέρα σας, κύριε Bourla.
Καλησπέρα σας.
Είστε κι εσείς πικραμένος για να πιάσω τη σκητάλη από εκεί που την αφήσαμε.
Όχι, είμαι χαρούμενος.
Είστε χαρούμενος.
Ναι.
Ωραία, χαίρομαι. Έχουμε πολλά να πούμε. Προκρίναμε και για τους φιλοξενούμενους μας εδώ να κάνουμε τη συζήτηση που θα ακολουθήσει στα αγγλικά. So let me start. I think that it goes without saying we must begin by the current situation in the United States. I would like to, if you would like to share with us your perspective regarding the tariffs and perhaps a possible impact in your field, in the biopharmaceutical field.
First of all, it's a great pleasure to be here. It is, I was trying to come for many, many years, and finally...
Is it your first time?
It is my first time here.
It's amazing. You must make it an annual event.
Yeah. Actually, I remember that in 2020, I was supposed to be a speaker, and it was the first year that the conference was cancelled because of the pandemic, and so I missed it, and then...
You would have been the guest of honor.
Yes, probably. Yeah, probably. Anyway, back to your question about the situation in the United States. We have a president and a government that is going to implement radical change in the world. And because, of course, of the importance and the size and the power of the United States, that will have global implications. There is no doubt about it. There is a lot of people that they think that the risks are clearly outweigh any benefits that this change will bring, and there are people that think the opposite. In my mind, what is important is not to speculate if things will go well or right. It is what you do to try to influence the environment so things will go to a direction, but it is for the benefit of the economy, as a result from the benefit of the people. And that's what I'm trying to do in the pharmaceutical industry. I engage with the government a lot, and I'm discussing all aspects, from tax policies to tariffs, to science, that are fundamental elements of our success. Pharmaceuticals were excluded from the tariffs. And I had the opportunity to discuss it with the president and with his cabinet. And I don't know if this exclusion will be maintained, because the most important characteristic of this crisis is that there is uncertainty.
Right.
There is nothing certain about it. But what I know it is that now they have been excluded, right? And it's better position to be excluded rather than to try to prevent that they will be included. Typically, in all trade wars, pharmaceuticals were excluded. But nothing typical is happening with this government. So it could happen.
Medicine is one thing, and raw materials is a different thing. And I was wondering whether there is any effect that you can share with us with regard to the raw materials. Will there be disruptions in the supply chain? Will there be shortages? Will there be hikes in prices, perhaps?
In general, yes, there is a risk, because a lot of the things are coming from China to the United States, and now the tariffs are prohibiting many of these things to come, and you can't replace the supply with local production for multiple reasons, including that you need time, but also even if you had time, the economic realities of the United States are very different than of China. So if they try to do those things in the United States, they will be extremely expensive, not as they are in China. So that is a major problem. Now, again, in pharmaceuticals, the cost of the raw materials is a very small part of the medicine's cost. The big part of the medicine cost is the research. This is really what where we spend most of our money, not in the making of the product. So for us, the influence will be if the products are tariffed or not. And we don't have much exposure from China as Pfizer.
How about Europe? Now we have a framework, like 90 days, a pause, and a time when we must strike a deal. If we strike a deal, obviously there's not going to be a problem. What happens if there's no deal with the EU?
I think we are going to enter into a situation of a global war, of a global economic war, because with China it is already there. So the hope is that Europe and the United States will come to an amicable solution. So as a result, Chinese also will try to find a compromise. So it's very uncertain. I wish I knew how things will evolve. What I know very well is that everybody should be ready for all scenarios with very specific plans so that they can minimize the impact as much as they can.
And how about Europe? Now, Europe is trying to find its way back to industrialization, and it's trying to be competitive. And my question is whether this is a realistic goal for Europe. Can we be competitive against the United States or China in this global race?
We are not right now. Can we be? Yes.
How?
Well, you need policies in Europe that are incentivizing...
What's the biggest obstacle for Europe?
The bureaucracy of the European Union. It's a very big obstacle. The fact that they do not want to pay for innovation, right? They are... Trump keeps, every time I see Trump, he puts in front of me a piece of paper with the price of certain medicines in the US and in Europe. And says,
That's
why?
what Trump does.
Yeah. Yeah. And what can I tell him about that?
What do you tell him about it?
It's between me and him.
Can't blame me for trying. Okay.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
But research, for example, in Europe, pharmaceutical research, 20 years ago was predominantly happening in Europe. Pfizer's major research center was in the UK, right? It was not in the US. Everything left because of these situations that I just told you, and everything now is in the US.
And how about Greece, sir? Because now you have an experience from your hub in Thessaloniki, which started from a few hundred people, and now it's about 1,000, I believe. Is Greece an innovation-friendly country?
I think Greece is very innovation-friendly.
Really?
Yes. I think needs to become also innovation-capable.
Okay.
Right? And for that, we need...
Because I was surprised at first.
No, it is.
Okay.
I'll tell you that the views of the Greek government in the most innovative industries are considered as among the most progressive in the European Union.
So the government has done well in that field. What must we do to become not only an innovation-friendly, but also an innovation-capable country?
I think to attract investments. The capability of innovation, it is related with significant investments.
You invested in Greece.
It's not goodwill that will bring the cancer cure. It is money from people that they are willing to risk their money 99 times before one project becomes successful. This is the nature of our business, highly risky business.
You're investing in many countries around the world. Pfizer's investment in Greece was not the rule. We don't have so many major projects from companies like Pfizer. You kind of shared your experience. I would like you to tell us which are the biggest obstacles in this process of investing in Greece.
For us, we didn't have obstacles. We had concerns to come to Greece because of the bureaucracy of if we will get the right licenses. We were worried, are we going to find the right talent? That was always the question, because we are having highly skilled labor force. Everything went extremely well. The government personally got involved to make sure that we will not have any delays with the investments, with the license of the buildings, and all of that. We started our journey thinking that we are going to make a digital center of 200 people that will serve the digital needs of the company in the world. And we received 15,000 applications.
15,000?
Yeah. So we were seriously surprised, even me, because we came here because I knew what we can find in Greece.
Did you come here because you're Greek?
You asked me again that.
Yeah, it was between us. Now we have an audience.
Okay.
That doesn't count.
I thought we'll stay between us. I think, yes, played a key role, but not because I pay any favors to Greece. It's not that I'm Greek, so I brought an investment to Greece, although it's not having a good return. It is, I was Greek, and I knew things that others, they didn't.
Right.
I knew that we will find talented people, highly committed to make a difference, very hardworking, very smart, in numbers that is very difficult to find in other places. Not because other places are not producing, but because other places, they don't have job offers. And so right now, instead of 200 people that we were planning, we have 1,200 people in Thessaloniki. And we were planning only to have a digital innovation center, but right now occupies around 500 people. Keep in mind that most of the people, I mean, I think 78%, they are postgraduate titles. Right? So είναι μεταπτυχιακοί.
So we don't lack talent.
No, not at all. Actually, 10% of those people were brain gain. They came back.
It's very important. Any plans for further expansion?
I think we are so happy. First of all, from the digital center of 500 people, now we have also another center that is providing global services to the company, which is another 500 approximately. And we have 450, and then we have 250, which is the big news for us. I don't think many people have realized already we have built 250 people of research.
Here in Thessaloniki?
Here in Thessaloniki. 250 people of research. They are mainly medical doctors, pharmacists, biologists, and chemists.
I wasn't aware of that.
Oh, yes.
That's good news. Are you planning to collaborate with the health system, perhaps in clinical trials, for example, with Greek hospitals?
We try. We do have here a collaboration. We do have almost 40+ studies, clinical studies, running in 16, I think, in 48 sites or something like that, right? Yes. But the 250 people that we have, they are not managing the clinical studies here in Greece. They are managing it globally. Here in our Thessaloniki hub, we are managing more than 150 clinical studies around the world are managed from here.
Right.
Data management, this is where they are collecting the data. This is where they are doing the monitoring. This is where they will do the statistical analysis. And so it's a very, very big process. That opens completely the opportunity to do also the studies here. Because the research organization, that many of them knew Greece only as a vacation place, now they are getting very strong familiarity with the scientific infrastructure of the country. And that will play a key role so that we can open way more our ability to do studies here.
Is there any time framework for that? Are you having a plan that perhaps you could share with us?
I don't share my plans publicly because we are operating in a competitive environment. But as you said, nobody can blame you for trying.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for accepting that. And finally, we have 6 minutes, and I want us to focus on AI because it's here, it's changing our lives, it's making our everyday life easier with the simplest of tasks. Now, I was discussing with Professor Pisaridis the other day how it changes things in the workplace. My question is, Mr. Bourla, what can we expect in terms of therapeutic protocols, in terms of fighting diseases, in terms of dealing with problems that science has not yet solved?
Yeah. In this front, in the science front, including the impact of AI, I'm very, very optimistic. It's not like the situation with the tariffs or with the economic turbulence. We are going to live a scientific renaissance. And this is happening not only because we have significant understanding of the biology and significant development of new biotechnologies, but also because we have the implication of AI and digital in general, that they are coming together and they are creating tremendous synergistic effect. So to make it more tangible, I think we will see way more and way better therapies in much shorter period of time. Therapies that will span from cardiovascular diseases to cancer, to new vaccines, to across the board. So that's something that the science is promising, and I believe that they will deliver.
In a short time. Again, I'm not asking you to share your plans with us, of course, but I was, we're listening to analysis saying that in a 5 or 6 years' time, most of the systems that now are operated by humans could be operated by AI. And that's why I'm asking you, should we expect too much and fast when it comes to treatments?
If you're asking about how much of the AI will take over processes, and I think very big part, because it's maturing very fast, and it is very effective, and it's very reliable. I think this is why we will see many new cures. But if you are, many people are thinking, oh, and what will happen with the people? The people will do other and different things as always.
How about researchers and doctors and all the people?
The researchers will be using AI so that instead of bringing cancer treatment in 10 years, the same researchers will bring it in 4. This is not about doing the same with less people. This is doing way more because now we can. Because
with
the productivity,
less people or with the same people?
We don't plan to reduce our number of people, and we don't plan to reduce our budgets of R&D. So Pfizer spends right now $11 billion a year in research. I have no plans, I told the Wall Street, to reduce it. If anything, I have plans to increase it.
Right.
Now, with AI, I'm sure that the productivity will improve. So I'm through with the same 11 billion, so we will bring way more cures and medicines to the world. And that's the beauty of AI.
If one could ask you best case scenario with AI in your field, what would you say? How many things can be done when it comes to our health?
I can only express it in terms of productivity, but I have seen...
No, I mean the vision. What can we dream of with the use of AI in your field?
To see the treatment of Alzheimer's, that is very distant right now. It's a very difficult disease. I don't think that we have the first treatments that are coming out, but not with breakthrough results. Right? It's small improvements. We will see many of the current cancers being cured, and many more become a chronic disease. So you will live with your cancer like you live with your diabetes, and you will have a normal life. We will see things that will affect the life of our children, of our parents, of our spouses, of all of us.
And a final question. I was thinking that perhaps I should avoid it, not to spoil the party, but it's too recent, and we mentioned the pandemic at the start of our discussion. I was wondering about lessons drawn by that, or a sense of readiness, because when this came to the world, we obviously were surprised and we were not ready. Do you feel that we are better prepared in, God forbid, a second hit like that?
No, we are not. I don't think. You need to separate that into 2 elements. One, it is the scientific element. Do I think that science is better positioned today to deal with the pandemic than 5 years ago? Yes, because the progress of science is exponential. So right now, we have tools and we have means to achieve the same things much more efficiently. But the pandemic, it was as much as a health issue as it was a social issue that created significant polarization in the society and create a lot of political turbulence that in the post-pandemic world, things went actually backwards like forward. I don't think that WHO, for example, or Παγκόσμιος Οργανισμός Υγείας, put a positive framework, so the next time we will be able to find a solution not in 9 months, but in 5.
Πολύ περισσότερο και χωρίς τις Ηνωμένες Πολιτείες μέσα τώρα που το λέμε.
Without the United States, nothing would have happened. And by the way, the man who did it and didn't get much credit was Trump. because...
Who did what? Excuse me.
The vaccines. I mean, the United States involvement in the vaccines,
Okay.
right? Because he had this operational warp speed, which was the only country that did that in the world, that were putting significant money and significant effort to streamline the regulatory process so vaccines can be developed. He was very upset because the vaccine came out 5 days after the elections, instead of 5 days before what he was planning. And that was something I had to manage in my relationship with him.
I'm not going to ask you again. I know you won't share.
Yeah, but he was the one who, the United States, under his presidency, was the one that saved the world. Right? Europe didn't do something like that, and China didn't do something like that. Now it's a very different Trump, of course, than the Trump of that period of time.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.